Afternoon. Don Maxwell from Live IT Academy here. All right, today's subject is on understanding functions. Well, I'm going to show you how we can invoke a function and give you a quick way of entering that function in your spreadsheet. All right, you all know why functions are important, right? It gives us a easier and accurate way of calculating a whole entire process, right? All right, so today's function is going to be average. We're going to be calculating the average sale for the sales reps, right? So for example, Donna Simpson here from New York has done quite a bit in January, February, and March, and we just want to have an average of those three numbers. So how do we go about invoking a function to give us that result? Well, the first thing we have to do is pick the resultant cell, right? And once we pick the resultant cell, the next thing we know that Excel recognizes an equal sign that we're about to put a formula. Remember the plus or minus, but the equal sign is the one that I prefer to use here, all right? And we're going to start typing in the function. We're going to be doing average. So as I type the word average, and it doesn't have to be in uppercase or lowercase, it's not case sensitive. So as I type A, you will see that the autocomplete list of functions appear, right? And currently gives me the very first one, ABS. So, but I'm looking for average. So I need to type a V as well, right? Now on the next list, it's still not selecting average, but I could see average on this list, right? It's just below the average deviation. So I'm going to click on that one, right? And I see a screen tip across the screen returns the average arithmetic means of its argument, which can be a number or names or arrays or references that contain numbers. All right, so it's pretty much telling me what can this function do? What can the average function do? Right? So the next step for me to do is to double click on the word in the list, average. So I'm going to double click here, and you can see already it's starting to form the formula. If you look in the formula bar, you'll see average open paren. Right? That's after I double click, and then it shows me the arguments. Average number 1, number 2, and so on. So we have to select the arguments. What are the arguments? It is the numbers that we're going to be inputting in the formula to get the results. So starting in January and going to March, January, February, March, as I use the mouse to select across, you'll see an animation around the numbers of January, February, March for Donna Simpson, right? Now, the next step is to take a look at the function in the formula bar. What's missing is the close paren, right? But we need not to put it there manually. All we have to do is press the enter button, and you will see that the formula is completed, right? Now, notice when you press the enter button, the pointer is now on F7, right? Just below the formula that we calculate. So in order to see that formula, we have to go back and click back on F6, right? If you look in the formula bar, and you can see the results in the average sales for Donna Simpson's record, right? And you can look in the formula bar and you can actually see the formula, average C6 through E6, right? So the average was calculated for Donna Simpson. What if we wanted to calculate the average for all the other reps, from Yvette all the way down to Jerome? Well, we could use a tool called the fill handle, right? Now, since we're clicked on the formula, the cell that has the formula that we just calculated, if you take a look in the lower right-hand corner, you will see a tiny square, right? Well, notice right now I'm moving my mouse, and it's the a plus sign, a big fat plus sign that tells me I'm in the ready mode, right? So I'm going to use that mouse pointer. Now I'm going to click on that square, and look what happened to my mouse pointer. It turned into a plus sign, right? So once it's that plus sign, now I know I have a hold of the fill handle. So I'm going to use my hand on my mouse and select, right? So that's the right mouse key. I'm sorry, the left mouse key for select. And I'm going to hold it down, and I'm going to drag until I get to Jerome's record, and I'm going to release. And you can see that all these numbers are placed there simply because of the relative cell, right? Relative cells, right? So again, average, C7, E7, and 8, then 9, 10, and so on, right? All the way to 13, right? That's again because the cells are relative, and as I fill, they will fill that pattern. Okay? So that's one way to calculate the average, right? The other way is to note that if you look at the home editing in that command, you will see the auto sum. See that auto sum? Now, I'm going to select this G7 just to show you auto sum. And if I click on average, look what happens, right? Except we don't want to calculate average sales in the average. So we need to adjust. You just need to adjust the range. So I'm just going to reselect the range. And to C6, right? Just like we did before. Press the enter button, right? So simply, I just went to the edit, I looked at the auto sum, and I clicked the average here, and then I could follow doing the same thing. My numbers are supposed to be the same. I just showed you how to invoke from the command line. So we showed you how to invoke from the auto list, and now from the command line as well. All right, so let's repeat the command line. All right, just like we did, we select the resultant cell. We go to the edit, go to the auto sum function, click on that. I'll see average, right? I double click the average, right? Notice if I overshoot the numbers, then I must reselect the numbers, right? Simply going to reselect the numbers, right? Because I know I'm calculating for January, February, and March. I don't want to include average sales because that's the number that I'm looking for already. So I press the enter button, and you'll see these numbers are exactly the same, right? Then applying the fill handle for both is the same thing, right? Just click and drag, right? So here, you just learn how to invoke functions two-way. One, we use the autocomplete, right? And again, if you wanted to use the autocomplete, you simply begin to type the function. Or we can go use the command line, home, editing, auto sum, and pick the average or sum, whichever function that we want. Sum, average, count numbers, max, minimum, and so on. There are many other functions as well, right? We can learn more about other functions in a more advanced class, right? But that's the simplest way to do it. Okay, guys, great job. I'll see you in the next module, okay? Have a good afternoon.